What it do, peeps? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Aladdin, aka Adon Garcia. If you're new, please subscribe, hit that like button. Today we're gonna go over the mysterious places that could possibly be portals, and these are potential portals around the world. Just up my category, I love this shit. So, like I said, please subscribe to the channel, and let's get it. Here we go.
Time again, science fiction, Hollywood magic, and video games have toyed with the idea of stepping through portals and into alternate worlds and dimensions. But what if it actually were possible? Well, some folks believe it is, and in some cases it might not be as impossible as it sounds. From baffling ancient sites and accursed African islands to ordinary spaces with extraordinary properties, let's investigate some mysterious places that could be portals to other worlds.
Let's get it.
Life on Mars. The great David Bowie once asked, "Is there life on Mars?" But really, is there? Well, just this year, a satellite image released by NASA convinced many that there in fact was. But was there any substance to it? Let's find out. For over 10 years now, the Mars Curiosity rover has been investigating the red planet in intimate detail, allowing us Earthlings to discover more about our planetary neighborino. Because, we're those neighbors. Anyway, in May this year, Curiosity captured something astounding. Something many believe to be a doorway on Mars. And with a portal's dictionary definition being a doorway, gate, or other entrance, this discovery, some posited, could be a portal to a subterranean extraterrestrial world. Who knows what secrets lie beyond that doorway? Well, not many, according to NASA. Organization officials claim what we're actually seeing is just a natural geological process. Perhaps as suggested by Professor David Rothery, the eroded remains of hardened sand dunes. Not to mention that the alleged door only measures around 11.8 inches tall, meaning if there were any little green men up there, they'd be truly very little. NASA further refuted these alien claims by attributing the door-like appearance to something known as pareidolia, which is essentially the way in which our brains sometimes perceive meaning in completely random visual patterns. So as far as the official conclusion goes, I'm afraid there isn't a secret alien portal doorway on Mars. Unless that's exactly what they want us to believe. Ha! Well, you won't fool me, NASA, with your fancy science and reasonable explanations. I really need to get out more. The Fastillon. In the Burgundy region of France lies perhaps the country's most intriguing site, the Fastillon. With 311 liters of water gushing out every second, but with no source ever having been located, legend claims it's a bottomless spring, or better yet,
a portal to another world.
Used for drinking water and worship alike since the 7th century, the spring was wrapped in a circular stone wall in 1758, giving it a remarkable interdimensional portal-like appearance. Indeed, those with an inclination to all things spiritual often believe circles hold a strong mystical significance. Given their non-linear shape, believers suggest they symbolize endless cycles of energy and growth, opening the psyches of those in their vicinity. And indeed, this circular spring has stimulated minds and imaginations for centuries.
This game.
That's crazy.
In the 18th century, locals would peer into the depths of the spring, imagining what lay in the fathoms below. Some even dared to dive in, but would seemingly disappear without a trace, leading to local lore that the spring was either a portal to another realm or that there was a giant serpent at the bottom eating victims. But mysticism and folklore aside, the portal-like properties of the Fastillon extend pretty physically, given that no explorer has ever reached the bottom. In the last 50 years, only 4 people have braved the Fastillon, and only one survived. That was French diver Pierre-Eric Dessein in 2019. He managed to descend 230 feet, but still found no hint as to the source the water was pouring in from, nor a serpent or a portal. Some theorize that the water travels potentially tens of miles through underground caverns into the spring, while others maintain their superstitions. As the French would say, there truly is a certain je ne sais quoi about the Fosse des Yonnes. Could it plumb deep into the Earth's depths to entire unknown worlds below the surface? Well, we're not quite sure, but speaking of worlds inside worlds, Hollow Earth. Many scientific discoveries are owed to those who dared to think outside the box. For example, Halley's Comet, discovered by Edmund Halley, who also had some stranger, albeit lesser-known, theories about the world. In 1692, Halley shared his hollow Earth theory. He proposed that the Earth consists of 3 hollow concentric shells. Think Russian Matryoshka dolls, but planet-sized. However, 75 years later, 18th century mathematician Leonard Euler embellished the theory. Euler proposed that the Earth was completely hollow, with no concentric shells, but rather a sun at the center. According to Euler, the planet's north and south poles could actually be gateways into the hollow Earth, the interior of which is potentially home to advanced beings with innovative technology. Sounds nutty, sure, but stay with me, cause it gets weirder. According to a book published in the 1990s, renowned American explorer Admiral Byrd encountered the hollow Earth firsthand on a voyage to document the Arctic and the North Pole. The first-hand diary featured in the book reveals that on the expedition in 1947, Byrd allegedly discovered an entrance into the hollow Earth that Euler had theorized. According to his diary, he witnessed a, quote, green valley below, for which he described as wrong and abnormal, as he expected to be flying over an icy expanse. As he delved into the hollow Earth, he and his crew were met by an intelligent civilization with ultra-advanced technologies. As fascinating as this seems, as of yet, there's no evidence to prove the book's claims are actually true, nor that the diary it features was actually written by Admiral Byrd. The explorer was long dead by the publication date, so obviously he was.
That's why it's important to film. Nowadays, everybody got their phones. You got to film.
Wasn't able to verify one way or the other. More so than that, the biggest issue is that Admiral Byrd was actually in Antarctica, not the Arctic, during this time. And even if a hollow Earth discovery had been made in Antarctica instead, Byrd was accompanied by a large team, none of whom ever shared any tales of this nature. So, do the North and South Poles feature portals to the hollow Earth? Well, probably not as far as the legitimacy of Admiral Byrd's so-called secret diary goes. But with Antarctica alone being 5.5 million square miles in size, who knows for sure what colossal untapped caverns may lurk below the ice. Strangely, in 2018, researchers discovered that some bizarre holes had appeared in the Arctic ice. While no conclusive cause was figured out, they were theorized to be a result of something melting the surface, like warm underground springs. But it certainly stimulates the imagination, as did this peculiar hole that formed in an Antarctic glacier. While we can likely chalk both of these instances down to melting ice, there's a part of me that wants to believe that these are gateways to the one and only Hollow Earth. Let me know what you think's lurking below the ice in the comments below. The Disneyland Dimension. Strolling down Main Street and into Disneyland can feel like you've stepped through a portal into a wonderland of cartoons and fairy tales. But in 2016, one visitor noticed something resembling a portal to hell itself, brewing in the skies above Disneyland, California.
Yo, I've seen this video somewhere. That's actually being seen around the world, actually.
Creepy, right?
Not sure if
The
it's
visitor
fake.
Kyle explained how when he looked closer, the rings seemed to have things swarming around the edges, which looked like tiny birds. As Kyle witnessed the strange phenomenon, he described how he experienced a strange gut feeling, as if an alien portal was about to open up and abduct him. But there may be a plausible explanation. You see, Disney's park shows often use lots of pyrotechnics, and smoke rings can be a common byproduct of this, making it much more likely that in this specific situation, Kyle probably wasn't seeing an alien portal. And that strange gut feeling? Well, that may have just been an undercooked corn dog. But there is another theory. There's a chance, though tiny and highly unlikely, that what Kyle saw was a wormhole. What's that, you say? Well, for this, we're gonna have to dive into everyone's favorite topic, physics! So up until Einstein's theory of relativity, our understanding of space was pretty simple. Space was believed to have pretty much the same properties everywhere, following the same set of rules. However, Einstein figured out how the faster something travels through space relative to another object, the slower the first object experiences time. From this, it was concluded that space and time can be understood as interconnected dimensions of the same whole continuum. Einstein's understanding of space was somewhat like a trampoline surface, whereby the gravity of an object can actually warp space and time, pulling things towards it. So if space and time can be warped, some physicists theorize it may be possible that a specialized force could actually poke a hole in time and space, which could make wormholes possible by instantly pinching together two vastly separated points in space. Of course, this is all pretty complex, but if a wormhole were to occur, it could look similar to what Kyle witnessed at Disneyland, a huge distorted vortex forming in the atmosphere, sucking in light. Though with a real wormhole, the light around it would likely be warped in a spherical shape, and the world governments would probably be a lot more upset about it. Mirror, mirror